Home by Watson Shire. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought of doing until the blade burnt threats into your neck. And even then, you carry the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport toilets, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding a newspaper unless the miles traveled means something more than a journey. No one crawls under fences. No one wants to be beaten. No one wants to be pitied. No one chooses refugee camps or strip searches where your body is left aching, or prison. Because prison is safer than a city of fire, and one prison guard in the night is better than a truckload of men who look like your father. No one could take it. No one could stomach it. No one's skin would be tough enough. The go-home blacks, dirty refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, sucking our country dry, niggers with their hands out. They smell strange, savage, messed up their country, now they want to mess up ours. How do the words, the dirty looks roll off our backs? Maybe because the blow is softer than a limb torn off. Or the words are more tender than 14 men between your legs. Or the insults are easier to swallow than a rubble, than a bone, than your child's body in pieces. I want to go home. But home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of the gun. And no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore. Unless home told you to quicken your legs, leave your clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, drown, save, be hungry, beg, forget pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave. Run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here.
When I hear the word refugee, I think of people who need a place to live that will support them and help them make a new life.
When I think of a refugee, I think of a person who is escaping a country due to political strife.
I think of refugees, I think of families that have been displaced either for political reasons or religious reasons. Because where they're from, their leaders don't agree with the way that they think or the way they feel.
When I hear the word refugee, I think of someone trying to escape from somewhere.
When I hear the word refugee, I think of somebody who, through absolutely no actions of their own, have been displaced from their home. And when I think about home, I think about that's really one of the most sacred places that we have. That's where you build your life. That's where you feel most secure. That's sometimes where you can share your vulnerabilities. That's where you build your traditions for your family for years to come. And when I think of refugee, I think of somebody who doesn't have that anymore.
Bertis kibelis roon belit yayle ku hamaniday ki beerlena beertis lay taabaday ki hoolan hoolan lay taabaday hiraabtan madad antan bat idiyaasat fadhow shaahi leylkan kariya aanada weelka lay buuhkulu ko horsheene Somali meelto Kenyan hat been adiya madeeri korto Somali hatta hilaagsanta qabiila ku bilaawadi oo weli awlihan maryaa ku bilaawday may ku bilaawday haqdorri nusbu dhaay hamara ku kahi olka duntur horaslay langaru gabo orgaas oo dadka fiijiya ulag masaarhay sorga madad maduus baaburka roogsa indiyo kasaase bam ku dorin lama hamin illa magaan wabi ka dhaajir lama hamin illa magamad meeli ka jar haysad waayan ku bahay kasmaayay jeeg roor dora la deeray waysaysidi tukoy raayba siyed langa anta ku bat todoba hore jirta kan siyeed reed aan goyn haba hayo hewiya tahay was maana uqas gurri shan habadooda yidhi santi in qaadi habad sadkiin qaada sida daf inta isidi meeli in fadhi inta oo kale ilbaabkaas oo kale bood wa natiijas boodki natiijas fulus isidi hanuu malad ani dhon bartay meergaw dhiigle ma igalay inta dhooga kooftay ma irta madiis ku bahay abaha iyo wixii ku dhalay inta tahayba wase wariya nafiga ma tagina kale dhama ishtirani ana maylaha walaaqada ran goofanaha nafuma kay jartay ka dhama telefoon iyo ku gooy ilaahi maqadiris korkay kala ay maday tanko tan laba tan sadis sadahay tusku roorhay nafbanahay ta duur kale blogaarahay meeli linjeedo mayo kan gorig wada do roorow yaabas widay habar dilaama gawjay foto lamman taan foto sidi roorku fokati baaran meel ku tabti dogdol ku rooray shaleediyo ulka ku tuwa sosle waato unigal ku rooray shalees raadka dadka isku rahawaako hamii walbana walhana dhiyeen wala haytan nin ma hay uniba dhamaadahay dadkii la dhamaayay waraabagi aami masagooti injeeday gaajin jidkan ka dhamad waraabagi aami hamii usugay booba fadi isku fuyowna maylin je serk Kenya Somali seri oo dadkii habahay ida gootiga sade dabka bergay group male anta dabkin ko oge en haga in ko haga ko unugeedo wada haga ko islaantis wada haga ko dadlay arab fadi hamin barin gedem hergelni hamin ki khal barini gedem boy babur al shani biyo raashin iyo antanishan teendha lana sii teendhiya iskahiriiringa lana sii teendhiya tagna anta lakusheeni geedanga kahirinta tagna anta lakusheeni geedanga kahirinta kangna gooso silata teendhada baliig lad burade teendhiya hamiin dad laku furode kii gorigaba meeg kuwo kale isqobsadeenoo garuumo gabaanoo iiftilay garuun la keela gale teendhada lakoogaa alxamdulilah yo anga idajidi habahi kambaan hata inta roog ilaahay ka shukri ilaahay lorka idal obi maskaha maxaaya maskahada sinan roog hata halkan ani madisi hooska qaylidan sangarorde jug ma ogolaado maholay kushal gohay madaga sin roog mado oo kale kumiyusa gaadide hol qayli madaga dhaasi ngar ani dhon iska darame siliti daf lakin habadi bugdi ma fail hatta barut tomha ada barut kun hase sokko hore jef barut dar artu nade gergere iska dar hami usu munduro hami ki barut hang la hang an munduro haramot yefidi والتين اللي يكوبي الحرب كوميوسا قاعدة دي مكارنا أنا مجهوج جيك صومالي دجال انجلفن صوماليات هو دجال انجلفن أمريكا مدكر كيلو بودون مكويفن
مجاga ميلره
sangaabo
مجاga سدحت شك
sangaabo simo xasan
أيه قحوتون أم كايتي
oo 20 sano fadhi
لواتن اللي حسنا مجا سنة جرتاد
way jaray 40 iyo 47
وان قرتي قحوتون نوليس كورم ميك نول
qorooto nololis ambuuli aan hay diinta darada
أيه ما الشقة هاي كشقيات
may ka shaqay isa ka shaqaysada oo tumay gooday isa gurahay ruwa ku raadiyahay oloola gurahay guri dhoobahay bilaanga karan dhigahay isku lam hamiin saddex min hantahay min afar hada kooye shaahigay ee undiga rubo iyo meela ku weydiye geek lama itumo ku seen fadhiin boqol koolaan helo weydiye ya ka suurtagal boqolkaas unuga walanka karanka gadaday masanayo ruwa sokoray ka gadaday wali anfaaw mayo
مريكان كمان ملاس
maraykanka in nolol fayli jarto
إن مريكان كفضاس أنت اللي كجي
haa faday
أيه عيال معناها مريكان كمان فضاس
in iyaalkay arago oo iyaalkay waqti dheer ay iyaalkay aragan baahan
عيال ميلك وجره وان قرتي ميغا سنة عيال كان أرن
17 sanadkan
وان قرتي dadka oo Mareykanka rogan may oo anka sheega fadhi qaxootiga dibkaada ka qabta
inaga hootiga dhiblika shoogo yaa sheega fadhi 20 wal dheerna fadhi wal ana nolol shaqanan ka haysan walba anan ka hangan lan ka haysan rafaadka nooli
in madaxweynaha Mareykanka hatta la dooraday wali arahin dad islaami oo Soomaali ah Mareykanka ma kala koran markuu fikradaas may ka aaminsantaa fikrada may ka aaminsanaa inni hegana muslim lay roog indana muslim lay roog aye hada hogaasatana wal isbedelan jar
meel walbestelan
aye may ku murugaas
mayku murugay inni arinyogi kay arago kala agto kala baashalo kala noolado baahna
aye qaxootigana may muruga kaay
tuguna may murugay haay ruwa askore meel aan ku shaana on lahayn arda meel aan ku shaana on lahayn rafaad ee kahay
I'm Nicole Watts. I am founder and executive director of Hope Print, which is a local not-for-profit organization that seeks to empower resettled refugees to thrive. We do it predominantly through practicing hospitality, through multiple homes we have in Syracuse's North Side neighborhood. A mutual mentorship, I learn, you learn together with American-born individuals and resettled refugees, and then community collaboration, serving as resource brokers, partnering together with other resources that exist in our community and trying to be collaborative in the way that we together are empowering our community to thrive. I started to work with refugees about 9 years ago at this point, and I started with just a few families that I came across in various ways and started to share meals with them, help them understand the national grid bill that came in the mail and get the school supplies they needed. And in the process of just building those friendships, I truly fell in love with the people and felt at home in this way that I had just never felt before. And so as I began to build those relationships, I was living out in the suburbs and realized that my actual home, the place I wanted to be living my life, was in this neighborhood that had thousands of people from all around the world that were now calling it their home. While Hope Print is not officially in the resettlement process, we are working with families who have gone through this system. And typically what is happening is a family or an individual is fleeing from their homeland where they encountered danger due to war or threat of some kind of persecution or some situation that caused them fear for their life. And so they would flee from their country of origin where they were born to a place of safety. And so that's where they would come and seek asylum and share their story and then be given international clearance as indeed having their story verified that they are a refugee, and they're given refugee status internationally wherever that country is that they fled to. And oftentimes refugees live within those countries, those asylum countries, for many years. A lot of the refugees that we have here were in a refugee camp for over 10 years. Some of the families were living in urban centers with an urban refugee program and many years there as well. And some are planning to return home to their home country, but that does not work out. And a very, very, very small group of them are given the opportunity for resettlement. And while it works differently in each country, there are some countries where there's more of an application or a request process, but in a lot of cases it's actually that they're selected for some reason or another as being resettlement eligible. And so when a case begins to be in that process, they go through what's oftentimes, my understanding, about 1.5 to 3 years of an interview process. And that interview process includes a number of different entities asking questions, verifying stories, medical screenings, etc., etc. And once they pass through this extensive screening process and are recommended for resettlement, they're recommended to one of the dozens of countries that do resettlement. United States, historically, for the last, as long as we've been involved, has done approximately 50% or more of the international resettlement across the globe from all the countries that are involved in this program. And so we have taken in, since we got involved, it's currently set at the lowest number that it's ever been set at 50,000 a year as our cap. When we first started, it was, I believe, at 70,000. It's been as high as 110,000 that the United States says that we will take in as far as individual people that are either part of a family unit or coming alone. And so our cases are presented to our government, to our State Department, and different departments that are part of our executive branch, and say, this is a case that we believe is eligible to come to the United States, and we think it's a good place for them to come. Those cases are then further vetted. Once they are approved that they are indeed able to come to the United States, it then goes before some different national organizations that do they're subcontracted with the government to do the resettlement, which is some setup time, but then it's focused on a 90-day period from arrival until the family has some certain things that have been checked off, such as getting a social security card, getting the children in school, having sustainable housing, and some other things. And so those cases are delegated amongst the various national agencies that then themselves have local affiliates that actually do the work of resettlement. And there are approximately 100 plus cities across America that do a decent amount of this resettlement through these local affiliates. And here in Syracuse, we have 2 local affiliates that represent 3 of the national agencies. And so locally, those resettlement agencies, as they're called, are Catholic Charities and Interfaith Works.
I run a program called Matching Grant. And this program is designed to help families that are enrolled into the program by getting them employed, helping them avoid entering public assistance programs such as cash assistance, and helping them in whatever capacity that we can by putting them through employment trainings, by putting them into cultural orientation training, by getting them into financial literacy trainings, by expediting the process of them learning English, vocabularizing those sort of English trainings, and getting into transportation, helping them with navigation, all those things that you will think of that needs for someone to become self-sufficient faster. This program is specifically related to getting community involved, because there's a reason why they call it matching grant. For every dollar that I spend of government money, I have to raise an amount of in-kind or cash or services by the community. So the community donations that are giving into the program needs to match the federal dollars that are spent on behalf of these guys. So, and that is why this program will heavily rely on the community. And we're grateful for every single human being in our communities that are helping this program. That includes our ESL instructors, our volunteers who come in and teach financial literacy, the individuals who does transportation for us, help meet one-on-one on talking about culture, about laws, the Syracuse Police Department, every single one, because we know it is not just the job of one person. And we are trying to deploy all of our efforts in helping these families the best way we can, because their success is our success.
My name is Haji Adan. I am the Executive Director of Refugee and Immigrant Self-Empowerment, in short RISE, formerly known as the Somali Bantu Community Association. We do work with refugees in the city of Syracuse with various programs. Our focus is on the post-resettlement after being in our country for about 90 days. So, what made me get involved in this kind of work is because I came to this country as a refugee myself. I had some struggles, even though I spoke good English at the time when I came to this country. But I've seen so many families that needed support. So I felt like I had somehow an obligation to give back to my own community, because it takes a whole village to raise a child. So that's where I get this concept, and I feel proud of what I'm doing today, because I feel like I'm changing, I'm having an impact on the life of people in our community. It's a long process. I often laugh about when people talk about like the resettlement process, nobody's vetting them and all those kind of stuff. It's very complicated. I wish they knew what I went through, or maybe my family members or the clients that we help them here go through. Some of them cry at the interview. It has impacted, the travel ban impacted the work that we do here, because it created fear in the refugee community. And because of that, a lot of them are coming here just in the hopes of getting news, positive news, whatever that can be. They're afraid when ICE or otherwise they can be knocked at their door and been arrested or whatever thing, and those are some of this always fear. And the other things, like agencies like us help empower the new Americans so that they can achieve American dream. The whole purpose of doing this is to make sure that they become independent and not be a consumers but contributors. So we want them to be off public assistance. We want them to be off food stamp. Nobody wants, among the new Americans, among the refugee community, nobody wants to be on a public assistance ever. But because of them having the language barrier and everything else, that's the only thing. But it's not only refugees who are consuming food stamp or public assistance. Go to Department of Social Services every morning. Majority of the people that are there are American people, black, white, Indian, Caucasian, whatever thing. You see that. So, but seeing that American refugees consume our food stamps, I don't think that is the way, because refugees want to work hard, and they work hard, and they want to become independent, buy house, girl, send their children to good schools and all those things. That is one, because they're here to seize the American dream, so they can send their children to good schools, they can buy a home, they can have a good car and all those kind of stuff. That's all. That's why they're here.
Hi, my name is Salad Ali. I am a senior at Casanova College, and I study psychology.
3 words I would use to describe Salah are open-minded, compassionate, and caring.
I have known Salat since he was in 9th grade. I would describe him as motivated, kind, and very smart.
I would say he is ambitious. I would say he's creative. and I would say he's 1 in a million.
I don't remember when I first met Salat. I just feel like I've always known Salat. He is one of our most involved students on campus. I think the 3 words are caring, compassionate, focused, and someone who really speaks and acts from their heart.
So, I was born in the refugee camp. I was there for almost 11 years. Originally, I was born in Kenya, and in a refugee camp called Dagahle. Originally, my parents came from Somalia into a refugee camp in Kenya, and that's where I was born. For us, I think we were really lucky because our process didn't take longer than the usual. It usually takes almost 7 years for people to be resettled to a new location, but for us, it took about 2-3 years. But we've been in the refugee camp for longer than 11 years. I was a child, so I just remember my father just going to appointments like a doctor's office. You know, every time my dad would be like, "Hey, we gotta go and get our IDs and get all of these things through, and then someone's gotta take a picture of you." I was just kind of like going with the flow kind of thing, but my dad knew what was going on. And the mindset that I had at that point was a good mindset, and I knew that this was a perfect opportunity to become something better. I knew that like the mindset that I had when I was coming here was that I didn't see no race, no color, anything. I don't care even if you were blue or black or white or whatever. I just wanted to be a friend, and I was ready to go to school, and that I was ready to just absorb everything. It was like finally for my family. It was a hope, you know, a hope to something better. A hope to become something better, an opportunity to make life better for us. And it also meant the worries that my father had are finally coming to an end. There was a lot of things that as we were coming here that meant a lot for us. My perception to when I was in the refugee camp to when I came here was totally different, completely different. So in the refugee camp, we were told that they made America seem like it was heaven on earth. They were saying how all you can eat is pasta and rice. In the refugee camp, that was the best meal that you could possibly have. They saying as a child, all I'm gonna do is go to school, and that would be my job. We're right. And then the other thing was that I remember someone saying to me, a remote, you can just zap a food, and they would we're using a remote, and it would fly right into your mouth. And I remember them saying that there would be no trees, no trees at all, and I know that doesn't make sense, but they were saying how I'll never be able to see a tree again, and that everything would just be clean and futuristic. So schools in the refugee camp, you have to, when you register and go in, they will teach you the English language, they will teach you math, and that's all that I really remember. Being able to master and learn the English language and math. And math is super basic, like multiplication, adding, subtracting, dividing, and that's it. The food in the schools in the refugee camp were limited, and the only thing that was an easy access was porridge. So in the recess, I don't remember if we had recess. That would be a lunch break. Every student gets a cup of porridge. So I started off from first, and then I went up to 3rd grade. Then something happened where my father had to take me out. And then once he got me out, then like a few months later, he wanted to get me back in there. Then I had to start from first again. So once you leave the school system, you have to start from first. And so if you were to look at one class, you would see like different ages in the same class. You would see a 16-year-old in the same place with like a 12-year-old, 11-year-old. And so I remember my brother, who's 6 years older than me, being in the same class with me. The teachers are allowed to spank you if you're allowed, like if you're misbehaving. And I remember like the kids being bad, and then we had to like all kind of face down on the tables, and then they would like, everybody gets one in the back. First day of school, I was really excited. I remember wanting to just kind of like open arms, talk to everybody, and I wanted to get to know people that were different, that had different experiences than me. Yeah, I started out from 5th grade, and my school wasn't far away, so I walked to it, and I remember just being taken to class. I sat down. We didn't have to like switch classes and stuff, and I remember just sitting there and just looking around of like everything that's just new. Like imagine just everywhere you look, it's just something that's like really unusual, and you just want to know what it does, and like like imagine just like wanting to figure out like, wow, like this is a lot of stuff that I need to like just absorb. When we sat down, I remember just sitting in class and just not knowing what's going on, you know. I remember my teacher introducing me, and I kind of just was just like, I don't know what she's saying. I think she wanted me to stand up, but I just sat there because I didn't know what she was saying. And imagine just kind of feeling frustrated of like, wow, that was like a first day of not knowing what the heck was going on. And that's how it was until I was able to absorb everything, until I figured out my way around things. At first, when President Trump was running for election, I had a really deep belief that America would never elect someone that had the views that the current president had. And I felt as if I was more accepted. I felt as if people understood me. I felt as if, you know, like these people are my friends, and they feel what I feel, and that they would never vote for someone like that because they know me, and that what this man is saying is a lie. And so I began to get nervous as he went up the election, as he's been getting more votes. I began to get nervous, and out of nowhere, he's running against Hillary. And that's when I began to feel a little sensitive about things. I looked at it as America, half of America didn't like me, half of America don't like refugees, half of America don't like immigrants. Half of America looks at refugees as threats and not as people.
So I think that in our culture of America, we have a litany of history of different peoples coming into our nation. Many people will say that we are a nation of refugees and immigrants, and I would adjust that a bit to say we are a nation of native peoples, of refugees, of immigrants, of slaves, former slaves, and a number of others. But we do indeed have a history of being a people of many peoples, or of many tribes. And historically, if you just look throughout our story, there is incident after incident, chapter after chapter, of the newcomer, of the arriving one, as being perceived as being a threat, that differences are seen as being bad, And yet somehow, if we all go back in our own stories, we all tie ourselves back to that. And yet we have sometimes a struggling long-term memory to that. And ourselves forget that once our ancestors also experienced the challenge of being a newcomer. And I think that one of the beauties of America, and yet one of the challenges of America, is that when you are a nation of many tribes, there's this power struggle of then, therefore, what tribe gets to establish cultural norms? What tribe gets to establish who has the power? There's so many forms of power that exist within a nation. And so if all that power is up for grabs, so to speak, then some tribe or some collection of tribes are going to be able to access that power. And we as a nation, we as humanity, are best served when everyone has an appropriate level of access to power. And so we build these strange disconnects between one another rather than asking, we are the people, like we together are the people. How do we build a nation? How does power get accessed by all? Instead, we forget that we're stronger together, and we instead begin to believe that we're stronger when people like us or us ourselves have the power.
I think it's wrong to label one religion against another religion or something, because that's not American value. So American values, we are all one nation under God, indivisible. That's the principle. So, and I think it will be wise, like if that we are inclusive, because that's one thing that people are very proud about America, because they bring every single person that they can potentially help. And that's why every single person in Africa or in other country wish or wants to come to America, because of that value that no matter who you are, if you're ready to achieve the American dream, there's always opportunity there. So the land of opportunity. And there's a reason why people call America the land of opportunity, because it has given people an opportunity. There are so many people that comes here as a refugee with a skills set. So they're engineers, doctors, and all this kind of stuff, And I think I realize, and I know the frustration and all this kind of stuff, but there's always bad apple in every community, in every society. There's always this one person that will do the unexpected thing every now and then. For example, in America itself too, those children, in Connecticut, about how many kids, little children. What the heck was that person thinking about? Children, right? Not even adults, So if we go ahead and just label that person and just say, hey, that person, because of that person, all white people, are crazy and they will commit this and all those kind of stuff, innocent children. For me as a person, like seeing that, it really defines, it really bothers me. When one bad apple does that, and then we label the whole of that population that they're bad people and all those kind of stuff, it's going to create chaos, and it's going to create infightings, and we don't see it, but somehow people will be annoyed about it, and someone can act crazy and do something horrible stuff about just because of that, because of labeling their religion or whatever thing. And I hope that we all understand that we in this country, one God, one nation.
A lot of this happens because we don't understand one another. The sense of empathy no longer exists. And that's what allows fear to come to play. That's what allows us to communicate one another in a way that we don't no longer understand. So we communicate to sort of reply to something, but rather to understand. It's right from its roots. We have to go back to their countries to address the horrifying things that are happening in their own communities that allows these individuals to say no to all those things that they have, all the belongings, all the dreams that they have, and yet hope that they will reach a destination that they could start all over. But yet at the same time, for those who are in our doorsteps and that are already here, we're going to have to work hard in understanding one another and building a community that is better and more resilient because of the diversity that we have. And that's what I say to those who are feeling that sense of threat or fear in them. But I see the fear; it's legitimate because you want to protect your communities. You want to be safe. You want to make sure that you have answers to your children at the same time of what's happening in our communities. But I encourage them to get engaged, to get involved. I encourage everyone to participate because that's the only reason how we can address these issues. Not by picking position of what side I am in, but rather coming together in a way to help create feasible solutions to the challenges we face today.
I woke up to Trump as the new president-elect. And ever since then, I just began to feel unwanted. I began to feel like what matters to them is what's theirs and not what's right. I began to feel like they don't understand me. I began to feel like they don't know me. I began to question all of these things. And I said, I felt kind of unwanted. I wanted to be silent, but at the same time, I knew that wasn't right. I know that I needed to, because it was something that was in the back of my head all the time, all day. And so I wanted to do something about it. I want people to know that I am a human being. I want people to know that I am not here to steal anything. I am not a threat. Yes, I have these identities, but it's what makes me different. It's what makes me Salat Ali. Being a refugee is the opposite of an insult. It is a badge of courage. It is the badge of strength. It is the badge of survival. It is the badge of victory. Being in a refugee camp is not a choice. No one chooses to be in this kind of environment. And so, I offer my hand to those who want to understand me. I offer my hand to those who do not just want to hear things from the media. I offer my hand to you as a friend and not a threat. Yes, I am a refugee, but I'm also a human. I feel, I cry, I get hungry, I look for love, I have worries, just like you. Just sit down with me and have a lunch with me. See how much of a threat I am to you. I offer you my hand. Thank you.